Chapter 527 of Tower of God, or Season 3, Episode 110, is one of my new favorite chapters in the entire story, honestly. It kinda blew me away. Like, I love the Yama-Yasracha dynamic, but I didn't expect this much depth and detail cutting back to it after so many chapters of, handling Traumarai and Bomb's group and this and that and Evenkel. And I love it. SIU is spoiling us right now. We all know SIU does a really good job with flashbacks, and he does this with a lot of different characters, and I'm always impressed by these little side stories that don't need to really even be told in this much detail, but when he does, it just changes everything. But this backstory, it's one of my favorites, if not my new favorite, flashback, backstory explanation, because it not only helps set up Yasracha and continues to give him character and sort of explain his side of the story, but it also helps put into perspective Yama, as this canine lord, king of the fighting dogs, and I just absolutely, I can't wait to talk about it. So obviously I want to talk about the final scene. The final scene, one of my favorite scenes, but first, let's mention that the branch leader that shows up, I read the comments, bro, I can't believe I missed this, but I think you all are correct in assuming this is probably the branch leader of the wolf branch of the Lopobia family. And this is so cool because I think it's so easy to forget that Elaine is Lopobia Elaine. She is literally a member of the Lopobia family. And I love this, they look similar. Obviously the hair color is a little different, but I just get a similar vibe like you all said. And also the creature that this branch leader is riding looks kinda like a wolf. So this is either just a fun little detail, kinda like an Easter egg, or maybe the wolf branch is actually gonna play into this somehow in a little bit more detail. I don't know, I'm excited to see. Obviously Nen Nen and Wong Wong are sort of the main focus of this whole backstory thing, but I do gotta give a shout out to Yasracha, who is continuing to develop in a really interesting way. At first, I was like, okay, Yasracha's just a complete idiot in this specific chapter, because the moment, Wong Wong sees Nen Nen, Yasracha just goes, okay, I can't wait to ruin this relationship. Which is, of course, a dick move, but at the same time, I do kind of understand a little bit more. I mean, these two traveled the entire tower together pretty much from start to finish, most of the climb, hundreds of years together, right? Hundreds of years. And yet, Wong Wong never really acknowledged Yasracha in the way Yasracha wanted him to, right? We all know Wong Wong has this strong innate desire or instinct or both to serve a master. And he never showed any of that for Yasracha. And so it was more of a mutual climb thing. Wong Wong is a pack animal, but he never really saw Yasracha in that way. And Yasracha, he even said it, he wanted that, he desired that. But Wong Wong never gave it to him. And of course Yasracha didn't like how Wong Wong accepted Traumarai as his new master, but okay, that's his whole instinct, whatever. But the moment that instinct is shattered, right? The first time that instinct is beaten, and for the first time Wong Wong opens his eyes and sees outside that box, is for a new random individual, a new beastkin who's beautiful. Yasracha's jealous. He even says it. He says he's jealous, bro. And I kind of respect that he just says, I was jealous. He wanted that from Wong Wong, but he never got it. He wanted Wong Wong to break away from his instinct for Yasracha. That's the vibe that I get, right? But he does it instead for Nen Nen. But of course, that's still the master dynamic with Traumarai still complicates things. Now first let's talk about Nen Nen for a second here, and sort of Wong Wong's power and, the unique factor that he has. And I want to give a shout out to Hannah from Towers and Gods, the Jedi Exile, because she reached out to me after the stream and sort of explained her interpretation of the chapter, and I think that totally makes sense. And that's that Wong Wong's ability, when he roared and everybody woke up, that's what woke up Nen Nen, who is the Slayer who Akronach has as a host. Akronach did have Nen Nen in a berserk state, but then when Wong Wong screamed, dude, these freaking names, when Wong Wong screamed, everybody woke back up. They were in some kind of a trance. We know Akronach can kind of do this thing. And when he screamed, she woke up, her memories are a little hazy or whatever, and she did it because she's a beastkin, right? But she's not it wasn't Akronach's Slayer was defeated and then he chose her as a new host. No, she has to be the Slayer. That's the only thing that makes sense. unless there's a little bit more going on there, but there's no way she's just a random soldier that Aquanaut just chose after the Slayer was killed. I don't know, I think we might need a little bit more information on that, and maybe we will get that, because it's like, if she's a Slayer, then like, what the frick's going on there? But at the same time, it could make sense, because what if she's the Slayer for the Lopobia family? And maybe that's why the Lopobia family arrived to eradicate this threat. Maybe that's why Wong Wong's ability is something Traumarai is so desperately after. And I think this makes sense. Like, obviously Wong Wong has this ability to not be mind controlled, which Traumarai, of course, it's dangerous, but I think Traumarai actually wants it. He wants that ability. I think he's happy with that ability because he wants Doom. Like, he made Wong Wong have Doom as a child, and what if Doom didn't actually gain the full extent of that, you know? We know Doom did inherit a lot from his father, he can create canines, all this stuff, but I don't know if he inherited everything. Like, what if he didn't inherit that core thing that makes Wong Wong special, which is that he can't be mind controlled? I don't know, like, Doom could have inherited part of it and whatever, but I feel like Doom wasn't as much of a success as they wanted. And so, when Nen Nen shows up and is the host of an ancient, and Wong Wong was able to awaken her, and maybe that's the whole reason Wong Wong was even brought to the battlefield, maybe that's what's going on, and maybe that's why Traumarai is like, okay, now I need to create a new child, basically like, you know, the more successful version of Doom, and that's how Yama is created, and we know that Yama is the most successful, like the strongest of the three brothers. It's really, really cool, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, she has to be that person, and I'm sure that makes sense to you, and you're like, okay, why was that even a question? But there was a lot of people in the chat saying these various things. I don't know, bro. I love you guys, the chat's great, but sometimes it can get very confusing. Okay, one last thing, Yusracha's conversation with Nen Nen about like the machines and the plants being the first things in the tower, and humans came from plants. I love it. That gives us so much, like, it's a story, obviously, who knows if it's historically accurate. The lore in that scene is just incredible, and even if it's just a story, I want to dive into that in its own particular video. But okay, bro, this freaking final scene, dude, this final scene, it got me, you know? Like, obviously, it's just, okay, Wong Wong, he's conflicted, but I just love the way it's worded, and I think the translation is actually really well done here, so shout out Webtoon translators. It starts with Nen Nen saying, okay, when Wong Wong comes into the room, what is your reason? So up until this point, Traumarai has given them basically their own hotel, he's given them months to just kind of like grow close naturally, according to him. The vibe I get is, of course, Traumarai is treating them like animals, right? Like, okay, stick two animals in a place and do whatever, and although they're human beings, Traumarai sees them differently. And you know how there's this whole thing, and it's horrible, I don't want to get into too much detail, but it's almost like, okay, maybe the end result will be better if it's natural. You can kind of see that too in modern day with like foods. Like, okay, maybe if they're grass-fed, like it's gonna be better, you know? I almost get that vibe of Traumarai. He's looking at it purely from, okay, the end result will be better, which I don't know if that's true, but whatever. Wong Wong has finally been ordered, and so Nen Nen says, which of the two is your reason? Are you doing this for your master or because you love me, right? Those are the two options she's giving him. And of course, Wong Wong himself is conflicted because up until this point, he's been just taking care of her, giving her food and taking walks and having conversations and raising plants, and like he's genuinely caring for her, right? Like it's not like with Doom where he was just ordered to. This is different. This is like, okay, I actually genuinely care about this person. But the interesting thing comes into play because he's still making the decision to come to her room when Traumarai, his master, orders him to. So technically when he says, because I love you, it is a lie. And that's what makes it so heartbreaking and tragic. It is a lie, right? Like he's still following his master's order. And that's why when Nen Nen says, liar, but still I'm glad you lied for me, she understands. She understands that he cares about her. It's just that his reason for doing that wasn't technically because he loved her. It's really heartbreaking, and I think that the whole translation of this scene is great. You know, Wong Wong, whether he's lying because of the order or telling the truth regardless of the order, like that, I don't know, it puts it into such an amazing perspective. If it's his instinct to serve his master, is it also this instinct, right? This same instinct that tells him to embrace this woman? Or is it another instinct of his. So I love this too, because this whole time he's followed one instinct. One instinct. Serve a master, pack, family, you know, like, I just gotta serve somebody. That's been his whole driving force. So for him, after hundreds of years of that, is this the same instinct? Like, is she a replacement for that, or is this a new instinct? And I like to think it's a new instinct. You know, he's finally acknowledging, I'm not just a servant, a slave to this person. I'm so much more than that. Like, I have other instincts, I have other wants. And I feel like he's been programmed to think this way, but maybe Nen Nen is like bringing out this new side of him. This is even more interesting too, because Wong Wong is the only one who can't be mind controlled. Every other beastkin can get mind controlled, as far as we know. And Wong Wong is the only one who can't, but he's also the only one who genuinely wants to serve a master. And again, I'm not gonna spoil Attack on Titan, but it reminds me of, like, I mentioned this in a live stream, it reminds me of an aspect of the story where the only person who could break away chooses not to because of, like, this instinct. And I really think that's interesting because maybe Nen Nen is finally gonna crack that a little bit. I don't know, bro. There's so much happening in this scene alone, and the entire chapter builds up to it really well. And I'm scared, bro. I'm scared because we all know this ends in tragedy. Like, Wong Wong is going to die. Will Yasracha truly be the one to kill him? What happens to Nen Nen? What's going on? I cannot wait to find out, and I just love this even more because at the end of the day, this entire flashback is establishing Yasracha, whatever, but ultimately it's setting up Yama to be the son of these two amazing characters who each have their own really interesting stories. And I love that. It's made me appreciate Yama so much more. And I think it's gonna be amazing when we cut away from this flashback, cut back to the fight, and see the result of, like, how this is all going to affect the fight itself. Because I do think that Yama probably saw all of this when he was stabbed with this last fang. I mean, he had this, like, calm expression. He saw bits and pieces of a flashback already. Dude, I cannot wait. This has become, like, my favorite aspect of the Nest. I'm so excited. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the analysis. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe for more Tower of God content. I'm excited to continue making new kinds of videos, and I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you think of this entire situation, and if your interpretation is a little bit different. With that being said, though, I will see you in my next Tower of God discussion video. Take care.